Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for coming on and listening to this episode of Mom Mode. We have Meaghan Ranee on the podcast today, and I'm so excited. Um, I don't know who doesn't know Meaghan because you are a huge influencer on TikTok, Instagram. I don't know. Where else are you doing?
Yeah, TikTok. I originally got started on Instagram, but I also post every week to TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook as well. If you do like Facebook Reels and stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I came across Megan's profile and I was like, okay, wait, I love her humor. I love all that you post. I especially loved one of my favorite ones that you've posted is like my husband. I think it's like my husband has like two wives, and you're like
Yeah.
beautifully dressed up, your hair is blowing, and then you're like hair up, big oversized
Yeah.
t-shirt on. I'm like, that is so me. I think that's all moms and all
Oh, it
wives.
is all. It has to be all moms because honestly, I think I've gotten dressed up since I became a mom maybe once or twice, since like in the past like 6 to 7 months, and like 97% of the time, I am the woman with the bun on my head, no makeup done, in sweats with it's just yeah. Yeah, that was a fun video. I had to make that one as soon as I had the idea of it in my head because I was like, I know I am not alone on this. Like this is
No, you
this
are
is
not alone.
literally
And I
all
was
of us
dying and
every
I showed my
day.
husband and I was like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, so okay. So I guess for those who don't know who you are, can you just give us a little intro of who, who you are?
Yeah. Yeah. So like you said, my name is Megan. I am from the Midwest, grew up here in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm recently became a new mother, but not exactly a new content creator. I've been doing this thing for maybe like 4 years now, which is so crazy to believe
Oh my
or
gosh.
to think of. Oh my God, it's crazy how time flies. But yeah, I love to post just like silly, funny, humor, relatable content on social media to like connect with people and just make people laugh. And yeah, now that I've become a mom, I've kind of taken my silly side and mixed it with mom humor and just kind of had those two worlds collide. And that's just kind of what I love to do.
Yeah. So when you started posting content,
Hmm.
did you always have an idea of like becoming a content creator, or were you just doing it for fun?
Oh my gosh, no, never. I never even like becoming a content creator really never even crossed my mind. And it's because whenever I first started posting, Instagram Reels was the first time I ever posted like anything. And it was still very new. Like Reels had really just come out on the platform. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw people just kind of, doing silly stuff here and there. And I thought voiceovers were like kind of funny. So I was like, I came across this video and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. I kind of want to make one and just like, goof off whatever. I was actually at work whenever I did it. It was like a super slow day. I was working by myself and I just recorded myself doing this like silly little voiceover video, posted it on the internet, the very first one that I ever posted, and thought like, oh, my friends are going to laugh at this. This is just going to be something silly. Ended up
Mm-hmm.
getting like over 1 million views. And I was like, my heart was like racing and I was like freaking out. I wasn't used to like I had like maybe 500 followers on Instagram. Like it was the account I had since I was like in like a freshman in high school, like this was just
Yeah.
like something I just did for fun to keep up with my friends. And then when that video blew up, I all of a sudden I had thousands of people following me. Like it got up to like, I think from that one video, I got up to like 4 to 5 thousand.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I was freaking out. I actually stopped posting on Instagram altogether for like a month because it freaked me out so much. I didn't understand like why all these people were here, why they were following me. I'm like, I don't understand like what's happening. Like it was very scary at first. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of how it all started. I eventually was just like, you know what? I'm gonna roll with it. If I find anything else funny that I want to post, I'll post it. And I just slowly over time started posting, and then here we are, 4 years later. Hard to believe, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That I didn't realize it was 4 years.
yeah,
I was looking back at like your
yeah,
pregnancy content and I was
yeah,
like dying at that. And you also look amazing
yeah.
pregnant. I swear you were just all
Oh,
belly.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, that belly got big. It was like out to here. I was like, oh my God, nothing, there's nothing like being 9 months pregnant. What an experience, like truly. Oh my
Oh yeah.
God.
Oh yeah. I don't think I'm still over it. I'm like,
Oh no.
not I see
Well,
babies. I'm
you
like,
forget about it. You forget about it, how awful it is so quickly too, because I already catch myself being like, "Oh my God, when do we want to have the next kid? Like, when do we want to do it all over again?" As if it wasn't like so insane, like
I
the
know. And
birth,
your son's
the uncomfortable, all the symptoms, like all the craziness that comes with it. You forget it so quickly because you fall in love with your baby, and you're just like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. I want to do it again." You know?
I know it's so true. And your
Yeah.
son's 6 months old, right?
Yeah, he'll be 7 months on the 26th. So in like 6 days.
Oh
Yeah.
my
No,
gosh,
almost
it
another
goes
week,
by
seven
so
months.
fast.
I know, I know. He's like scooting across the floor now. He's not like quite crawling, like picking the arms and the legs up crawling, but he is like scooting, like inchworming his way across the room. We put the baby gate up yesterday
Oh
because
my
we were like,
gosh.
okay, it's getting too serious. Like this kid's getting too far.
Oh my, you're going to be amazed. Like from 7 months to 12 months. And then my
Yeah.
daughter's 16 months old. And then from 12 months to 16 months, I'm like, you are a different human than like, I look at photos of her when she was 6 months old and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're not the same. Like you're different. It's really sad. So just
Yeah.
hang on to it and just enjoy
Oh
it.
my gosh. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I know. I literally want to have like a breakdown every time I look back at his like newborn pictures because I'm like, how were you ever this little? Like when were you ever this little? It almost feels like a fever dream cuz like, you're so sleep deprived in those first weeks
I
that you
know.
hardly even remember it. And now I look at my kid and he's like this chunky 20-pound baby and I'm like, how did this happen?
I
It's
know.
so
Oh my gosh,
crazy.
he is chunky in the cutest, best way. Like I'm like, I look
Yeah.
because I always wanted a chunky baby, and
Yeah.
my daughter never really got like super chunky. Like wasn't like super
Yeah.
skinny, like little. But I'm like a chunky baby. I love it.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
so cute. Um,
Thanks.
how I guess like for the first 6 months, like if you could put it before we like
Mhm.
dive deep, if you can like
Yeah.
give us a general overview, like simple terms, how has motherhood been for you?
It has been everything I ever wanted, truly. Like I knew I wanted to be a mom since I was like a kid. I always just like I have always had that instinct to like I knew I wanted to have my own family one day. Um and I will say it was a lot different than I thought it was going to be, especially in the beginning. But overall, it truly is the most amazing, most rewarding thing, and especially because I get to do it with such an amazing husband. Like my husband is literally my best friend. Like, could
Mhm.
not do life without him. I've been with the man for 7 years. I've never once gotten sick of him. Like we are just, best friends, and so it's really cool to get to do that with him.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I truly like I love it so much. I'm like ready to go through all the trauma again just so I get to have another kid.
Oh
So,
my gosh, that's exciting.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, they are truly amazing, and you do forget about the
Yeah.
hardest part for me. I don't know what was the hardest part for you. Mine was like not sleeping,
Yes, I was
which you
just about to
quickly get
say,
over.
yeah. The sleep deprivation is extremely difficult for me. Nothing I was like so everyone tells you, whenever you're getting ready to have your baby, they're like, "Oh, say goodbye to sleeping. You're never going to sleep again." And you're just like, "Yeah, I know." Ha ha. Like but you don't actually like mentally you cannot prepare yourself for what it is actually like to have a newborn baby and to like your life just changes so much when you have that first kid. It's literally impossible to prepare for it. It's like
No, I
all of a
agree.
sudden you've got a baby waking up every hour, every 2 hours, every 3 hours to feed, and if you're breastfeeding exclusively, like your husband can only do so much if if you're nursing, like you have to be the one, like feeding them and nursing them, and like you don't sleep, and then it's also like a all day process. And um and with my C-section, I also lost a lot of blood during my
Mhm.
C-section, so I had a extremely difficult recovery. I was short of breath just like taking a shower. I was like getting off the couch like was very hard for me. So my husband had to literally wait on me hand and foot, like make every all my food. He had to like do everything around the house, bring the baby to me in the middle of the night because I literally couldn't sit up. I couldn't get out of bed without getting lightheaded. Like it was,
Oh,
oh my God, it
wow.
was insane. But yeah,
So, okay, so you had a C-section. Yeah. So the sleep is very hard, but I feel like it's short-lived.
yeah,
Like eventually you're like, okay, the baby is
yeah,
sleeping. The breastfeeding, that was a whole
yeah,
nother thing for me. I don't know how it was for you. I
yeah,
did it for 9 months, and my biggest thing of why I stopped was I was constantly challenged with not producing enough. But I was like, I convinced myself, I'm like, no, I want to feed my
uh,
baby breast milk. So I was just
yeah,
pumping around the clock. I was eating what I could to try to get my supply up. Um,
yeah.
so how was breastfeeding for you? Are you still like going full fledged with it?
Yes, I am honestly, breastfeeding has been the most amazing experience I think that I could possibly have had. Like he latched on automatically. I didn't have any issues with my supply. Like it was a very easy process for me, thank God. And I think that because of those reasons, I have been able to enjoy it so much. And yeah, it's been an amazing bonding experience to have with him. And yeah, I've loved it. I've loved every step of it, honestly. And I used to like think it was a little exhausting, because it is so constant. But over
Mm-hmm.
time, it literally becomes like second nature. Like you just put the baby on the boob and you're like texting or you're like cooking or like you just like figure out how to multitask while you're doing it all at the same time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would agree with that. I remember being like, just oh,
Yeah.
she's hungry, just give me her and like trying to like juggle making dinner and like holding her while she's eating and it's really incredible
Yeah.
like you just you really test what you're capable of when you become a mom. You don't
Oh
really
yeah.
know what you're capable of until you do become a mom.
Right. Yeah.
So, as far as like creating content, obviously you said you've been doing it for like 4 years.
Mhm.
How was that becoming a new
Mhm.
mom and then continuing the content? Because I feel like once you're a content creator, I feel like the biggest challenge is you can't just like
Yeah.
take a hiatus and be like, not content creating right
Yeah.
now. So, how was that for you with like
Right.
coming up, having mom brain, you're tired, you're all the things,
Yeah.
enjoying motherhood, and then you still have to content create?
Yeah. I really thought that I was going to have to take a couple of weeks off whenever I first had Miles because I was like, there's no way. Like, I'm going to be, doing all of this, trying to learn how to be a mom. Like, there's no way. But I have never in my life, since having a baby, I have never been so inspired to make content until like when you go through such a big change in your life, I feel like all of a sudden I was finding so much in my life that was stressing me out. And it's always been one of my favorite things to take something that is stressful and turn it into something that's funny that you can laugh about.
I
Because I
love that.
think one of the best things about creating content is that we can all kind of laugh together about the things that stress us out and then it makes it not so stressful anymore, because we
Yeah.
we can relate with each other like, oh, you're a new mom too, like, oh, you're also sleep deprived, oh, your baby's also like spitting up all over you, oh, you're also going through this, like, I knew that I wasn't alone in those moments, and I never stopped making content. Like literally the week we came home I was like, oh my God, I want to make a reel making fun of myself wearing a diaper because like I have to wear diapers now. Like I want to make a reel making fun of my milk leaking through my clothes all the time. Like I wanted to turn those moments that are usually something people are like ashamed of. And I wanted to
Hmm.
take that vulnerability and make it into something we can all just laugh about. Like we don't have to feel ashamed about being in a diaper and our boobs leaking everywhere and like looking like a mess every day. Like we don't have to be ashamed of that. We're all literally going through that whenever we become moms. And I wanted to make it something we can laugh about and make it funny. And I felt very called to do so whenever I became a mom. So
Yeah, no, I love that. I think
Yeah.
a lot of moms love that. I think we all appreciate it because
Yeah.
you can look at it, there's two ways, right? You can look at it like, this is so hard. This is
Yeah.
so tough. I don't
Yeah.
want to be in a diaper. I don't want to have my boobs leaking. Or like
Yeah.
you're doing, you can find the humor in it. And this is
Yeah.
life. This is temporary.
Yes.
Um, and so do you think that like, I mean, you're just a very positive person. At least that's what I get from your content.
Yeah.
That's what I get from even talking with you right now.
Yeah.
So would you say that like creating content helped you? It's helping you through tough times as well?
Oh, 1000%. It feels like therapy to me in a sense because it's almost like, when you have a diary and you write down your thoughts out loud. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
feel whenever I make a piece of content about something that I'm going through. And then whenever I watch the video and I get to laugh at myself, and then not only laugh at myself, but watch other people laugh and relate to it. And then, in return, I also get that feeling of like, I'm not alone. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
not only am I hoping that my content makes other people not feel like they're alone, but it also in return makes me feel like I'm not alone as well, because it can be a very isolating experience, especially for like single moms. I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels good to be able to just to be able to laugh about it and to relate with other people.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think like regardless, like whether you're single, whether you're married, everyone's circumstance is their own, each their own.
Yeah.
Um, but it can even be just isolating in general and just lonely. Like it's the
Oh
weirdest
yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
motherhood for me, um, I was explaining to my husband, I'm like, it's so weird. Like my husband and I have a great marriage. I have my family. I have my friends. I have my beautiful daughter. But I'm like, a part of me is like so lonely in it. It's a really weird thing that I had to like come to terms with. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this has to just be
Yeah.
temporary as well.
Right. Oh
Did
yeah.
you ever
Yeah.
like,
And it is.
did
And
you find
I've
yourself
noticed.
feeling that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And in those like moments of like, especially at night, whenever you're up at night and you're by yourself feeding your kid and you feel like you're the only person awake right now in the world. But meanwhile, there's millions and billions of other moms across the literal planet doing the exact same thing as you right now. And it's, and especially once you have that baby and your priorities change so quickly, like you don't have that social life that you used to have. You don't get to see your
Mm-hmm.
friends as often. Like you have a baby who relies on you so much. And that can, I feel like, take a mental toll on you because you're so needed now. Whereas you used to only have to worry about like, oh, I just have to, make sure I'm present in my relationship with my husband and like keeping up with my friends. But like now you have a whole human who needs you 24/7, literally 24/7. So it's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a lot, but it's like you said, it's the most beautiful thing at the same time.
Oh yeah,
It's just like,
absolutely.
it's wild.
Yeah. It's crazy
when,
how like the hardest thing in the world is also like the most amazing thing in the world. Like it's crazy how those two things go so hand in hand. Like it's so rewarding yet it's so like stressful and tests your patience and
yeah.
like it does all those things, but wouldn't trade it for the world. And I know that that seems like, oh, every mom says that, but like literally would not trade it for the world.
No, I couldn't agree
Yeah.
more. Um, and with you, so you were becoming a mom, creating content, and then you also were working. Were you working full time?
Yes,
Oh
I
my
was.
God. Like, how did you do it
I
all?
Girl, you know what? I was stressed out. And then when it got once I didn't go back to work until I was 4 months postpartum.
Okay.
Thank God. I know so many women do not get the privilege of getting to have that much time off. I don't know how they do it. Like hats off to those women. Like that has to be so hard leaving. Like most people you only get like what 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. I,
Insanity. Insanity.
it's insane.
Um, but yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to get 4 months off. And whenever I went back to work, it was so hard. I cried my very first day back to work, like on the way there. I was just not ready to be separated from him and I worked 12-hour shifts. So I was going to be gone for him literally like before he would be down to bed by the time I even got home.
Mm-hmm.
So it was extremely hard for me, especially because Miles like wasn't taking a bottle at the time. Like we were having issues with that. That was a whole other, oh my gosh, that was a whole other headache of a mess to deal with. And so yeah, I went back to work full time. I was working 3 12-hour shifts a week, on top of trying to keep up with making content because there was no way I was going to stop making content. Like that's the one thing that I absolutely loved to do.
Hmm.
Like so I wanted to make sure I was keeping up with that. But then also, being a mom, like it was a lot to juggle. And I felt like my energy was being pulled in so many different directions because I'm working, I'm being a mom, I'm being a content creator, and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm also a wife. I also have a husband, and I need to, like, oh my God, like, when's the last time I gave him a kiss? When's the last time I, sat there and even had one-on-one time with him? Like, oh my God, like your relationship changes so much too.
It
So,
does.
um, and it was a lot. It was extremely stressful. It was really hard. I found myself crying, just like breaking down from the stress of it. And then I told myself, I was like, you know what? After 2 months of working full time, I was like, I have to cut back somewhere. Like, absolutely have to, or else I'm going to continue to live a life where I'm not happy. So I decided to quit my job, quit my X-ray job, my full time job, the job that I thought I would have forever, that was going to be my main stream of income forever. Like, and I decided, you know what, I have to let go of it because I want to do social media, and if I'm going to do it, I may as well do it full. Like I was doing it full time, but I may as well embrace it and take the chance on myself and do this and that be my full-time job, because being a mom is already a whole nother full-time job. You can't have three full-time jobs
No,
and have your sanity intact. Like you just can't.
no, you literally
So
can't.
yeah. So
So,
I
I
had to
mean,
cut
that's
back, and that's how I did
amazing.
it. Yeah.
I
It is
mean, I'm sure
amazing.
there's emotions with like leaving it because
Yeah.
I'm sure, I mean, you probably did love what you were doing. Like you said, you
Oh
never thought
yeah.
you would leave. Um,
Yeah.
so there's probably
But yeah.
another adjustment period.
Oh yeah. Another adjustment period. It's like I finally felt like I was adjusting to the crazy and busyness of working full time and having, a kid. But then after I decided to leave my job, I was just like, okay, well now we have a new transition of now I'm home all the time, but now I'm also creating more content. So how do we balance that time at home and that time with my kid? Because it's so hard for me to wake up and be like, oh, I want to make content today, whenever I
Hmm.
have my baby here and I want to play with my baby all day, and like he also needs to go down for naps. We don't have like a nanny, we don't have a babysitter, we don't do that. Like me and my husband are both here. So, I'm momming 24/7 all day, but also
Yeah.
like trying to sneak in times where I can like make content. So
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out that balance because it is still a very new transition. Like I just within this past month went full-time content creating. So
Well,
we're
that's
getting there.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's a
we're
big
getting there.
celebration.
Yeah, yeah, it's very exciting. Very
Yeah. I
excited. I
mean, all
never
of the hard
honestly
work.
never thought that it would get to this. Yeah.
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 Um, no, that's something to be really proud of. I mean, obviously I mean, so many moms, I can tell you. I mean, and more than just moms, like women are laughing. I
Mm.
mean, my husband thinks your content's hilarious. Like, I feel like there's so many different people that are pulling just different things from what they watch from what you post. And
Yes,
so
honestly, yeah. I love that. I love to hear that. I'm glad because I'm telling you, I that's one of the only reasons that keeps me going is the fact that I know that other people are looking forward to what I post or enjoying what I post in general. So, yeah,
yeah.
it means a lot to hear that.
No, I literally have like multiple videos of yours that stand out in my mind. One of them was like, you posted something like they doesn't come with instructions or like a manual, and you're like holding your son up and you're like,
Yeah.
you have to teach them how to sleep. And like, it was just so funny. I was dying. I'm like, yeah, literally did not think that through. Like when I gave birth, I'm thinking, wow, the hardest part's
Yes.
over. No, it's just beginning. Now you have to feed them. And
Yeah, for real.
yeah, that's
So
literally how I
true.
felt.
That is so true. No, yes, I loved that. I loved that video too because I was really just like, I remember making that video and I was thinking that in my head. I was like, you know what? I need to speak this out loud because I know that other moms are going to understand what I'm talking about. So I literally just like hit record and just like start talking. And sometimes those videos are my favorite ones to make because I just get to talk and be silly and goofy and just like, put a little comedic twist onto something that I have going through my brain at the moment. But and it is true. You think like, oh, the hardest part's over. I birthed the baby, right? It's like we stressed for so long the idea of giving birth and like wanting to make sure that the birth goes okay, that you
Mhm.
almost don't spend enough time mentally preparing yourself for what is about to happen after that.
Oh, yeah. You have
All the
no
stuff.
idea. I mean,
Yeah.
I literally say, like, it smacked me in the face in, like, the best way. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh my gosh. How was it with, like, your husband? Like, do you feel that, like, you were, like, you were a really good team when your son first came home? Or, like, how was it on your marriage?
Oh, yeah. It was honestly, I've never needed my husband more than the transition from coming home from the hospital to being at home with our baby. I had to rely on him so much, which is very hard for me because
Hmm.
I am very like the type of person who likes to be the caregiver. I like being the one in control and making sure that I'm doing my part. Um, but this was a time in my life where I had to let someone else take care of me and do more of the work than I could do because I physically couldn't. Like, I was recovering from major abdominal surgery because I had to have a C-section. I was
Hmm.
also like felt so awful and so sick because I lost so much blood. So I was like literally just short of breath walking into the house from the car. I couldn't sit up in bed and like I couldn't twist over. I couldn't pick up my baby out of the bassinet. My husband had to get up every time the baby cried at night. He got up, he got the baby, comforted him, and then brought him to me to make sure that he was so that I could feed him. And then when I was done, he would take the baby from me, put him back down, and soothe the baby. Like, he was up with me every single time for the first, at least all throughout the newborn stage until I was okay to, at least sit up in bed. Like,
Yeah.
it was a big struggle for me, and I had never really recovered from something so serious like that before, so it was also kind of a new experience just to be in my own body and not be capable of doing certain things. So it
Hmm.
was very frustrating for me. And I remember just getting stressed out from that because I was like, well, here I have this baby and I need to take care of it, but I can't do, my body won't let me do the things I need to do to take care of it. And I just would get so mad. And the first night we came home, I remember sitting there just breaking down because I hadn't slept in 3 days. I didn't sleep for the first 3 days since I became a mom. Couldn't sleep all night for the all throughout our stay in the hospital. And I came home and I just remember turning to my husband and just instantly bawling. I was crying. I was stressed. I didn't know why I was crying. And I was just so stressed out that I couldn't be I felt like I couldn't be a mom. And
Hmm.
he held me, told me it was going to be okay, and he buckled in and he did it. He was dadding real hard. He was making sure he was not only there for our kid but there for me, and I really needed him a lot in those moments. So, thank God. Thank God for him. Like,
Yeah,
really.
no, the dads need to get credit too because
Yeah.
you're so right. And I had a C-section as well, so I can definitely relate with you there. And
Yeah.
it was I didn't know, I didn't have like a birth plan, so I was
Yeah.
very like, well, I could have a C-section. I was very like open minded when I went in,
Yeah.
but I remember feeling like, will my body ever be the same? Like, I remember being like, I mean, you're cut in the middle of your body. How many,
Yo,
what,
yeah.
7 layers? I remember not even being able to take like my own underwear off. Like, I was like,
Right?
it would be like one leg in, one leg out. Like, to go to the bathroom was an event.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, I was very athletic.
Hmm.
My whole life. And so I'm like, oh my God, will my body ever repair? And
Yeah.
it does. I don't know how
Yes,
you
it
feel
does.
now.
Yes.
Um,
To any mom
s-
watching,
yes,
it's gonna get better. It's,
it
I
gets
promise.
great. I honestly am like, I
Yeah.
don't, it doesn't even phase me now. I'm like, I just see a
Yeah.
scar, but I'm like, doesn't even,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it is crazy how much your body can recover from, how much you can like physically go through and recover from and make it out the other end. And like, if me back in the newborn stage could see me now, literally just 6 to 7 months later, and know that like you are going to recover so much quicker than you think, I probably mentally would have been like, okay, take a deep breath. I'm going to be all right. But like, you don't have that reassurance, you just,
yeah.
in those moments, you think that life is over. I'm never going to be better again. I'm a completely different person. I'm never going to be that person I was. Like, it's a lot mentally and physically for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I always
Yeah.
tell myself now, I'm like, wow, like, not that going from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 is
Yeah.
easy because it's a new adjustment, but
Right.
at least as moms, we
Hmm.
know what to expect. Cause like
Oh yeah.
nothing prepares you. Like, and it's so, I don't know, it's hard because you're like, you can talk to everyone that's a mom, you can read all the books, you can watch all the YouTube videos, anything to prepare
Right.
you, but you really,
Hmm.
nothing prepared me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing
um,
prepares you for like trying to survive all day on like 1 to 2 hours of sleep, and your nipples hurt, and
mhm.
your body hurts from giving birth, and like you haven't showered, and like you haven't bathed, like you haven't changed your clothes. You're just like, you feel like the absolute worst version of yourself that has ever existed, but you're also like just like struggling to take care of a human at the same time. Crazy. It's actually crazy that we do this more than once.
Yeah. And then we're like, we wanted this. We chose
Right.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's crazy how your mind does, you're like, let's
Hmm.
have another. I
Hmm.
remember I remember being like my daughter was like 4 months old and I'm like, I could do it again right now. Now
Oh
that
yeah.
she's 16 months old, I'm like, okay, let's be realistic. Like, I don't know. For me personally, I'm like, I need a little more time, but it's
Hmm.
more so like, I don't want to lose that time with her. I'm like, this is the only time. If we have another, like,
Yeah.
we're never going to just be me, my husband, and my daughter. And
Yeah.
that hits
Yeah.
home with me. So that's what keeps me from
Yeah.
like having another right away is I'm like,
Oh
then you
my
have to
God.
go through
Yeah.
those emotions of like, wait, they're not the baby anymore.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I relate so hard with that. I absolutely do. I remember just like a month or so ago, I posted on my Instagram story and I was like, for the moms who did two under two, like, was it worth it? Or if you could go back, would you, change the age gaps between your kids? And for the most part, I will say all of the moms who did two under two said they would absolutely do it again. They said it's
Oh, wow.
extremely hard in the very beginning, but they say that it gets so much better as the months go on, and you've got like two babies that like constantly keep each other entertained, and it's like the best thing ever. So I have no experience with this personally, but that is
Yeah.
what many other moms did tell me. I don't know if we're necessarily going to be doing the whole two under two thing. I contemplate it every once in a while, when my son's being extremely cute and laughing and giggling at me. But for the most part, I'm like, I think the most common answer was like 3 years apart is the best. That's what
Yeah.
like a lot of people were telling me.
That's good to know. Yeah, I can see both. I can see how like, because yeah,
Yeah.
then they have this like, little
Yeah.
built-in bestie, and like my daughter. Oh my gosh, my neighbor has a son, and he's
Right.
5 weeks old, and she saw him for the first time, and she looks and she's like, "Baby," and she's pointing and smiling, and I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go." Now I feel like I need to give her a sibling.
Yeah.
So wait till your son is literally acknowledging like a baby, and then you're gonna be like, you'll just go get pregnant. You'll be like,
Oh,
all right,
oh my
here we
God. I'd
go.
be like, honey, no, now it's
Now.
happening. We need to have another child.
Like when they look and they're like, baby, you're like, oh my gosh, like there's just something in you.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Especially when you want to have another one. Like we know, like obviously we just had Mile, our first kid 6 months ago, or 6 to 7 months ago. So, and we want to have around 2 to 3. So the fact that I know we want to have at least one more, I'm like, okay, when? When are we doing
yeah,
it? When do we want this to happen? Like, what's the timeline?
I
Yeah.
think the best thing is you just, I don't know, maybe like let it be just the universal or God's plan. Like
Yeah.
when it happens,
Yeah.
it happens.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then you don't
Everything
have to
is meant
stress
to
about
be.
it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So I know you had mentioned with your C-section, you had a lot of blood loss. Like, was
Hmm.
that traumatic for you? Have you thought about that
Oh,
since? Or like, are you kind of just like, okay, it happened, but
yes.
whatever, and try to not focus on it?
Yeah, a little bit of both. It was very traumatic for me. The whole birth was traumatic for me. And I did the whole like we went to the birthing classes, like me and my husband, we did like went over all the different positions and like all the things to expect, and like we did it. We were so prepared, so prepared. And I had my birth plan. And I also was like in the back of my mind, oh, okay, if we need a C-section, like it's going to be okay. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I never really thought I was going to have a C-section. Like, like it
For
was
sure.
a very traumatic experience for me. The last thing I wanted was to have a C-section. Um, mostly just because I didn't want to like not be able to see my baby come out. I was so excited to experience pushing my baby out, having them be put on my chest, getting to have that experience of him laying on me while the doctors are like, wiping him down and seeing him cry for the first time. Like, I envisioned that moment in my life so many times whenever I was pregnant. I looked forward to it so much. And I think that that was what made me so emotional about my birthing experience, is because I never got to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I heard him cry before I ever even seen him. And then whenever I did see him, I was under anesthesia and half of my body was still cut open and my arms are flailed out to the side. I can't hold him. I can just look at him. I can't even touch him.
Yeah,
So, like it does suck. It sucks. Like, there's pros and cons to C-sections, right? But
for sure.
I was really upset that I ended up having one. And when I look back on it now, I'm like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. At the end of the day, he was delivered safely. He's happy.
Mhm.
He's healthy. Like, I could not ask for anything more, right? But
Yep.
I will say, like, fingers crossed, I get to have that VBAC and I get to have that delivery I want the second time around. Who knows? I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but this time going in, I'm definitely going to be more mentally prepared to expect the unexpected.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like in a similar boat.
Yeah.
I feel you when you say like, you feel like, I don't know, part of me, cause there's always, you can have the opportunity to have a VBAC and there's tons
Yeah.
of women that have had successful VBACs.
Right. Yeah.
But then you don't know, you're like, well, it could go to a C-section again.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, I actually was just talking to somebody the other day. Have you ever heard of a pelvic floor physical therapist?
Yes, I have heard of,
Okay.
yes.
Because if you're looking to do a VBAC, I would highly consider going to one because I
Okay.
have not been, but from what I was talking to her about, it can really be beneficial. I don't know
Really?
why, yeah, like supposedly, there's so many different things I didn't realize with the pelvic floor, but just by them doing like an exam, like they'll talk to you, like you can go in and be like, I had a C-section, I'm hoping to do a VBAC. And there's
Yeah.
probably so much that they can give you knowledge on. And also from a physical exam standpoint, they can tell like how tight your pelvic floor is or how loose your pelvic floor is. And no matter what, even with a C-section, I didn't realize this, but our pelvic floor has had transition even
Yeah.
because we carried a baby, and even with a C-section there's scar tissuing that starts to grow and can put weight.
Hmm.
So definitely, like, I would highly recommend like looking up and going to one just to
Oh,
like
wow.
really give yourself the most success for like
Wow. That is
possibly
such good
having a VBAC.
advice. That's so cool. Yeah. I'm
I
glad
like
you told me
just learned
that.
of this. I actually
Yeah.
I can send you a link, but
Yeah.
Dr. May Hughes, I actually just talked to her on the podcast a few weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
And so that's, I'm like, I want to learn about pelvic floor. Like, I never really knew anything about it, but I'm
Right.
like, now that I'm a mom, there's importance behind it, and I learned so much.
Oh
So
my gosh, that's amazing.
highly recommend if you want to have like a VBAC, because
Yeah.
I think like why not give yourself the utmost like, ability to
Oh,
do that.
yeah.
And your
Absolutely.
pelvic floor is so important even
Yeah, I
after a
know.
C-section.
I heard a lot of people tell me like, oh, like if you're having certain symptoms, like it's good to get like pelvic floor therapy, like if you're still having like issues with like not being able to like hold your bladder or like things like that. But I never had any of those issues. So I was like, oh, I probably don't need it. But like now that I hear you saying that, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? That probably would be extremely beneficial for me. Like
Well,
I
because
would probably love it.
it can even prep you, and like if you're like super tight, and like there's no way of us really knowing, I think, like if
Yeah.
we're super tight in our pelvic floor, but that can also, I think, like give an outcome of like how you're laboring.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely look into it.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's cool.
I learned a lot by talking to her. Like, she was so informative.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, hey, I'm hoping you can have that VBAC,
I
because
do. Fingers crossed.
I I felt that way when I had my C-section. I was like, "Oh my gosh," like I felt like a little part of me, like I was so happy to see my daughter. So this was like short-lived.
Right.
But I was
Hmm.
like, "Wait, I didn't get to experience that." And when you hear moms talk about like how amazing it is when the baby comes through the birth canal, I'm like, "I never
Yeah.
know what that was like."
Right.
But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know if I'm
Maybe
as
we'll
brave as
see.
you.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like, we'll just plan the C-section and I'll just,
yeah, I mean, fingers crossed that I get to do it. I really want to have that birth experience that I
yeah,
was looking forward to. Um, but I mean, at the end of the day, I really just want to be a mom and I want to have my family. And, although it does suck that things don't always work out the way that we want them to, but I'm just happy that, I can have kids and that I have a
for
family and
sure.
that I get to enjoy all of these moments with my son, for the rest of his and our life. So yeah, I have no
Definitely.
regrets. I can't, I'm always like, no regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. Um, so back to content creating.
Yeah.
I have to ask, like, so you mentioned that sometimes you just like push record and you'll just start talking.
Yeah.
Like, do you do that often, or like where does the inspiration for like your comedic style come from?
Yeah. A lot of it, whenever I'm like talking to the camera, a lot of times I'll just like go and hit record and I'll just like be saying something that I had literally just been saying in my own head like a second ago. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, like I have to like get this out. Like I have to say something. I have to talk about this. But the ones where I'm not talking to the camera, where there's like a little bit more of like a joke behind it and I'm like recording several different angles of it, a lot of those ones, they have like a little bit more thought put into it. And I get a lot of my inspiration just from my everyday life. Like I'll literally be like, you know, like making like I'll be sitting here like trying to get my son down for a nap and it's like not working. Like everything I'm doing isn't working. It's like stressing me out. And I'm like, how can I make this funny? How can I make a video on this and make it funny? And so like like a couple of weeks ago, I made a video of like making fun of me putting my son down for a nap and then turning around and going and turning the baby camera on. And then he's like wide awake when you turn the baby camera on. You're
I
like, oh
saw that
my
one.
God. Like, no, I just spent literally an hour getting this kid to go down to sleep and he's awake instantly. Like, it's so frustrating in those moments. But I'm just like, I can make this something that we can just laugh about and just like, just so many moments throughout the day of my everyday life whenever something doesn't go right, I like to take those moments and be like, oh, this is an idea. How can I make this funny? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from for like the mom stuff. Um, but everything else, like I do post like a lot of stuff that isn't mom related too sometimes because I did kind of get started way before I became a mom. So I try to continue still making content that is not always mom related. And a lot of those I'm just like inspired by like music. Like I love to make, funny videos of me dancing or like
Mm-hmm.
to like making funny clips to music because I do have a huge dance background and performing background. So I grew up competing and performing literally my entire life, and so I love getting to take all of that from my past life and turn that into other ways that I can also create content and make funny videos too. So yeah,
This makes sense now. So
yeah,
were you in like dance, or like what kind
oh yeah.
of like
Like they
competitive
have like
dance?
yes, competitive dance, like Dance Moms. If you ever watched that show, that was like
Yeah.
literally my life with less psycho. Like the teachers weren't crazy, like insane yelling and screaming at us. My teachers were amazing people, but it was very like, I was in the studio several days a week after school for hours and hours practicing routines and going over skills, and then weekends were competitions. I went to the competitions, spent all weekend there. Like that was my entire life growing up. Absolutely loved it. Like yeah, sure, I missed out on like social things every once in a while, but it was the most amazing experience and it really did shape my own, like my personality, my sense of humor, shaped the way I am, and it shaped my lifestyle. So it was amazing growing up getting to do all that.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
cool because now you can kind of use that into your content as well.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's
Oh
like
yeah. And see, and
that side
I
of you didn't die.
exactly. And
It's still alive.
there was a lot of like dances I would do growing up that were very like musical theater. Like there was a lot of like fun, like playfulness to like some of the routines. And I still love to do that to this day with my content. Like I love to take like a funny song and just like do a fun dance to it and like mix and like you do the funny the funny expressions and like be big and like loud with my movements and just like make people laugh and make people get into it. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I really got into content creating in the first place, was the voiceovers and the dancing. So,
I think that's my favorite part about watching your content is like
yeah.
you're doing all the things. Like
Yeah.
you're acting, like I mean really, like you're literally like such a good you act, you do the facial expressions, like just
Yeah.
it's just hilarious.
Well,
Like
thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I have
it's
a lot of fun with it for sure.
yeah. Um so moving forward now that you're full-time content creating, I know you kind of mentioned like you don't have a set schedule yet. Do you think
Yeah.
you'll set one out? Um
I don't know if I'll necessarily make a schedule. I think if I were to make a schedule, I would stress myself out too much on sticking to it. And then every
yeah,
time I didn't like meet the deadline that I made for myself, I would like stress over it whenever it's like, there's no need to stress over it. Like you're literally making your own hours at this point.
for
Um,
sure.
I do set a goal of like having at least 2 reels a week that I can post because I want to continue like pumping out that content, and I would love to up it to like 3, but I
Mhm.
also I have dipped into the YouTube space recently, and I got started posting to YouTube Shorts last year, and this year I was like I want to post, you know, my funny stuff that I love to do, but also I kind of want to dip into like the lifestyle content too because I love just getting to be myself on camera as much as I love to be a goofball on camera. I love sharing my life. I love, just like updating people on like things that I'm learning as a mom, just like mixing all of that too. And I think that YouTube is a really fun space to do that on. So that's
Yeah.
my goal this year, is to get more involved with YouTube.
So do you think you'll do like YouTube shorts or do you think you'll actually do like lifestyle, like almost like blogging on YouTube?
Yeah, both. So I'm still
Vlogging.
definitely, yeah, I love to vlog. I've only done a couple of vlogs so far. And I have so much fun with it. Sometimes I struggle with like thinking about like what to post because I'm like, are people actually interested in this? Like, or do people actually care that I'm like standing in my bathroom doing my makeup talking about like some random subject? Like, but then I think I'm like, I love that. I love
Yeah.
watching vloggers. I'm super into like watching people's get ready with me's, watching people just like post about them going to the grocery store, post about them like doing their daily routines. Oh my God, I love it. I freaking
Yeah.
love watching videos like that. And so I'm like, well, I mean, if I enjoy that, then maybe the people who enjoy my content might also enjoy actually getting to know me as a person too. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, okay, well, even if it's just me sitting down on the couch talking about something silly, like maybe people will like it. Maybe people will like the conversation, agree with it, have something to say. Who knows? I don't know. Everything is always a work in progress. It's always a trial and error as a content creator. So I'm just hoping that, I can continue posting and continue making things that people like to watch. So
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And
yeah.
no, I would agree with you. I'm like, it's so funny how like I'll find myself watching a YouTube video and you're just like, this person's in their kitchen making lemon water and talking
Right.
about the most random things about what they're gonna do
Yeah.
for the day. But it's like it's almost like peaceful. You're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
maybe I should make lemon water. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you just
Yeah.
get ideas for life. And then it's just
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I
I'm the
say go
exact
for
same way.
it. I think that's awesome.
Mhm.
And I think so many people would watch. I mean, people are watching you for your humor, but like people are
Mhm.
watching you because they like you as well. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I'll follow along.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
definitely
and I
follow
and I have
along.
a lot of fun doing it too. And I especially now that I'm like there's so much going on in my life, like
Yeah.
with, my son is like constantly changing. So we're every month it feels like, oh my God, like something new is happening. What am I dealing with now?
Yeah.
And so I love to just like show people like what I'm going through and what I'm dealing with, because I feel like it also is another way for me to like connect with other people online, because other people are always so like, for the most part, like obviously you have to deal with like the hate and criticism of social media, but for the most part everyone is so amazing in my comment sections of being like, oh my gosh, yes, I went through this too, or oh my gosh, try this is what I tried whenever I went through this. Like, I love having a community. I love having a community of people who can talk to each other in my comment sections and talk to me in my comment sections, and I can talk to them, and like it's just, that's the best part about this.
Yeah. No, community is so important, especially when you're going through
Yeah.
such a big life transition like becoming a mom
Oh
and
yeah.
like parenthood
Hmm.
in general. Like you said, I mean, you're like, "Oh yeah, I have a husband that I still have to be a wife to," you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hit that reality as well. And like our
Yeah.
relationships change. I mean,
Hmm.
and they'll glue back together, but you know, it shifts the
Right.
priority.
For
Do
sure.
you
Yeah.
find it like hard? Like, I don't know. I'm not a content creator. So like, do you
Yeah.
constantly have a camera around? Do you have like lights? Like how are you doing it? Like, and then when you have this
This is so
baby, like,
funny.
do you just have like multiple set up around the house? Like, what are
So
you doing?
you would think that I have like the best equipment ever and like the lights and everything because I've been doing this for 4 years, right? Like I probably have like all the
You're
ring lights and
tricking
all this stuff.
me.
But I literally use my phone as my camera and that's it. And then
Wow.
I have one ring light that doesn't even work. It's actually cracked and busted. I'm actually using it right now to hold my phone up as we speak. And it's like the cheapest thing I could possibly find on Amazon. And then I have another tripod that I genuinely hate because it doesn't stay still enough, but I still use it because I don't have the energy to go and just like buy a new one. But I have literally just two tripods. One of them is cracked and broken. The other one like is annoying to use, and that's the only equipment I have.
You are
like,
talented because I would never have
right?
known you're using your phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I use only my phone. Even my YouTube videos, I just turn that sucker
Oh my
crosswise and I record. I
gosh.
don't. I just, especially now that I'm a mom, it is so much more convenient to edit content on my phone. Like I know a lot of creators probably record with like a fancy camera, edit on a laptop at like a sit down computer. I'm like, no, I want to be able to record everything on my phone. I want to be able to like sit in a doctor's office and be like, oh, I have a second. Let me edit some content really quick. So I like to edit everything on like an app in my phone and like I want it to be easy. I want to do it all from my phone, and that's how I've always done it this entire time. No fancy lights, no fancy cameras. It's just me and my cell phone and a broken ring light
Oh my
that sits in the
gosh. Me,
corner of my
myself, and
bedroom.
a broken ring light. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, you do a really good job because I mean, I feel like I'm just not tech
Oh, thank
savvy,
you.
but
Yeah.
yeah. Do you find like having your son like juggling that has been hard at all? Like the creating the content and then, having to stop? Like, I don't know, like, are you able to create and then like pause and then like if he needs you, like switch over?
I think that's been one of the most frustrating parts of being a creator is once you get into the headspace of making your content, like you're so invested, you're in the middle of it, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, like you hear your kid cry and you're like, shoot, I can't finish this up right now. I have to stop and go, like I have my kid.
Yeah.
Um, and if if my husband's not here, like if he's gone at work, then I need to be here with him. And I try to like record content and do things like that whenever Miles is napping. But of course, sometimes he only naps for like 30 minutes and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I don't have any time to eat. So like you're just like it's very difficult like trying like when you're in the zone like making content and I'm like doing a video that's a little bit more like it's not just like a quick hit record and talk kind of video. It's like there's a little bit more to it.
Yeah,
So it takes a little bit more of my energy and my time to make it and edit it. And then, if I have to spend, like an hour making a video, it's nearly impossible for me to just spend a whole hour making that without stopping in the middle of it to go take care of my kid, like if
for
he's on the
sure.
floor a lot of times, like when I'm recording or making content, if he's not napping, he's literally on the floor doing tummy time right next to my tripod, just like hanging out with a freaking teether toy watching
Mm-hmm.
me act ridiculous. Like that's because that's the way I have to do it. I want eyes on my kid and I want to make sure he's content and he's okay at the same time that I'm like making content. Like if I'm in my bathroom, like recording myself, Miles is like on the floor on his little play pad right next to me while I'm doing it. So it's like, you just kind of you just I'm just it's a learning process. I'm like slowly learning ways that I can continue making my content while also being present with my kid. It's hard to do, it's hard to juggle, but
For
you
sure.
just figure it out. You figure it out as time goes.
Yeah. And I'm sure he thinks of it as entertainment too. He's like, wow, what
Oh
is my
yeah,
mom doing?
absolutely. And you know what? And I love it. I'm flattered. I hope he gets my sense of humor. I hope he loves watching me continue to act silly and enjoy the stuff that I do. One of these days, he's going to be too busy with his own toys and his own things that he's not
I
even probably going
know.
to care
It's
less.
going to come
But
sooner than
for
you
now,
think.
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for now, he just sits there and watches me act like a goofball and plays with his little chew toys. So,
Oh.
yeah.
So What has been like your favorite part of motherhood so far, or like his favorite stage from like birth to like 6 months? Do you have one that
Oh,
like really stands out?
oh my gosh. Oh, I can only pick, if I had to only pick one. Um, I think my absolute favorite thing ever is anytime Miles giggles at something that I do. When he started laughing, like reacting to me, it was the most amazing thing. Like I melt every time I see that boy smile. Every
Oh my
single time.
gosh.
If he's laughing at something I did or said, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to keep saying it and doing it so that you keep laughing because
Yeah.
it literally is the most amazing thing to see my kid be so happy and giggly over something that I'm doing. And I love it. I love it so much. I think another thing I've truly enjoyed since becoming a mom is getting to see my mom be a grandma because this is the first time she's had like a grandchild because I'm her only kid.
Okay.
So it's been, and I have the most amazing mom ever. Oh my God, the most amazing mom. And we are very close. And so it is so neat getting to see her turn into like get to experience being a grandma. It's been the coolest thing. It's like it's like we have this little club of like my kid and I'm her kid and we just get to like hang
Yeah.
out and it's like the coolest thing ever. I absolutely love it. I love it so much getting to see my mom become a grandparent.
Well, and I'm sure it's so special for her because there's so many times when like
Yeah.
they'll just see you in them, even like,
Oh
and
yeah.
even though it's like you're a girl, he's a boy, but like they still
Yeah.
just see like certain looks or
Oh yeah.
certain personality traits or just,
Mhm.
it brings them back. So it's really
Yeah.
special.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. My mom tells me all the time. She'll be like, "Oh my God, you used to do that all the time." Or, "Oh my gosh, look at the face he made. Looks just like you when you were his age." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, stop. Oh my God."
Oh, it's so sweet. No, that's really special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, advice for moms. So like moms that listen to this, like what, like if a mom was like, I need your advice on like motherhood, like what would you say?
My biggest advice would be to be patient, be so patient, and prioritize yourself. Um, don't let yourself fall out of the things that you love. Like I struggled a lot with, like I'm very active. I love living an active lifestyle and I struggled a lot with trying to balance staying active on top of also taking care of my kid.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I would sometimes go weeks without like doing something for myself, whether it was just like going on a walk or anything, like, and I would find myself like being anxious and stressed out whenever I would stop doing those things for myself, and I feel like in turn that made me like not be as good of a mom. Like I just felt like I wasn't myself, and whenever I was like, okay, I'm going to prioritize myself today, I'm going to make sure I eat lunch today, I'm going to make sure I get a little movement in today, and that made a big difference for how I was like mentally
Mm-hmm.
as a parent. I feel like it made a big difference. So yeah, don't forget to prioritize yourself. Don't forget that you also need attention from yourself. Like you need to feed, like, don't forget to feed yourself because let me tell you, I
Yes.
did that so many days. I'd be like, oh my God, I didn't eat lunch today. What time is it? Oh my God, I'm starving all of a sudden. What's happening?
Well, and
Like
then it puts you in
you
fight or
need to,
flight mode because you're like, you need
exactly.
food,
Yeah.
especially if you're
Mm-hmm.
breastfeeding.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm breastfeeding. So it's like it's even more of a priority because I have a little guy who's also relying on me to eat too. So I'm like, oh my God. I think that that was the most stressful thing for me is, when you have that first kid, you go from like your life is just all about you and what you're going to do with yourself and what you're going to
Mm-hmm.
do today. But every day I wake up, the first thing I think about is my kid. The first thing I think about is what are we going to do with him today? What do we need to
Mm-hmm.
get done for him today? What does his timeline look like? And I'm not thinking about like, oh, what do I want to do for myself today too? Like, oh, do I need to shower today? Do I want to put makeup on today? Do I want to like put clothes on that aren't what I slept in last night today? Like,
Yeah.
like do the little things. Also, if you're into getting ready, I know not all moms are, like you absolutely do not need to get ready, but if you're into just like putting on a little makeup, I started getting ready in the mornings like about a month ago. And it made a huge difference in my mental health. Like I literally just like spent 10 minutes putting on moisturizer, mascara, brushing my hair up, and like doing a little something. I used to just like ignore it completely because I was just like, oh, it's not necessary. But like when I started just like getting ready for like 10 minutes in the morning, I just like felt great for the rest of the day. I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Like I feel a little bit put together. I feel good today, which it just puts you in a better mood. It puts you in a better mood to like,
It's so
I don't
true.
know, just like be present and like, yeah. And like go with the rest of your day and be happy. Like it made a huge difference for me. So yeah.
Yeah. I would agree 100% with that.
Yeah.
I love that advice. And
Hmm.
yeah, as far as just to comment on your active, how you like to be active, like um one day he's just going to be active with you. So like
Oh
whenever you
yeah.
get frustrated, like, or if any mom's
Yeah.
listening are like, I feel the same way. I don't get to do the same things. Like one day they're just going to do it with you.
Yeah.
And that day is
Yep.
soon. Like I'm talking like
Hmm.
2, 3 years old. They're going to be right
Yeah.
next to you, like on a walk with mom or
Yep.
watching mom lift weights, sitting there just watching you. Like it's
Yeah.
so
Right.
wild how quick it
That
goes.
would be amazing. I love that. That would be cool to get to
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, for
Of
sharing
course.
so much with us. I hope there's so many
Yeah.
moms that listen to this and just feel like they know you a little more, and you should totally
Yeah.
do the YouTube vlogging.
Yes.
You got to
Absolutely,
do
I
that.
will. Yeah, no, I've had so much fun being on. I really appreciate you just reaching out to me and having me on. I loved the opportunity of just like getting to talk about motherhood. These are things that we don't get to open up and talk about very often.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I love the fact that I got to do that here. So yeah, I
No, I
appreciate
so
it.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will talk to you soon, and I will keep following along these reels that you're making off of your broken,
Awesome. Yeah.
what is it? Your broken ring
My
light in your phone.
my broken ring light. Yeah.
Well, no one would ever know that,
Cool.
but now we know
Awesome.
your secret.
My secret, you do not need fancy equipment to be a content creator. I'm telling you, you don't need it. Don't let anybody influence you to get it. Okay.
Advice from Meaghan Ranee herself.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, thank you
Just be
so
yourself
much.
and use your phone. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, yeah. Thank you
And
so much for having me on. It's been awesome.
yes.